Okay, this project. So basically, we're going to compare a DJI Mavic Pro versus a DJI or Rise Tello, whichever you want to call it. And I already shot a one-shot DJI Mavic Pro into a air raid shelter from the sky, and it's quite hard to do, but it makes a quite interesting shot when you just shoot it in one take, meaning that you don't cut it and you don't switch cameras or etc. like this. So what I'm gonna attempt is using the DJI Tello or Rise Tello to recreate the same shot. Is it possible? Can I do the shot for $100 instead of $1,000? Right. So this is what I'm packing in. Charger, power bank. That power bank will have dual purpose. One is it could top up the Tello. It also is going to power this. We're going to give the Tello the maximum ability to, since it doesn't have an onboard memory card to record, it's recording straight streaming into the phone. I want maximum quality, maximum transmission stability. So going to use this. It's already paired up. So this is going to link up my phone to this, which is going to repeat it to that. You know, you get that kind of connection. It's much more stronger. Because I want maximum altitude. I'm going to go for the full 30 meters into the air, and I already know it's not high enough altitude, but let's just give it a try and see if we can do something creative. Is this good enough for something creative? So charge the Tello, power the Xiaomi Wi-Fi repeater. My Dremel little butane torch thing that has multiple purpose depending on the head. It's like it can be a soldering iron, etc. That's just for this egg carton. Egg carton is by far the best smoke maker, the best like insect repellent. Any insect that's affected by smoke, this thing just churns out tons of smoke. It costs almost nothing. I mean, it basically costs nothing. I'm gonna eat eggs anyway. So, and super light. So these are for that. So I just need to smoke out the, I just need to smoke out the mosquitoes out of the area. I probably light this up, just to drop it in there, and then I'm just gonna come back out and then just come back in maybe 5 minutes or something like that. And this is the torch I was using. So this flashlight, Rofus MR70, actually not the most ideal, I found out. So in the future, I'll probably not be using this flashlight, but it's the one I use for this Mavic Pro, which I'm comparing it to. So yeah, so this is what I'm packing in. These items just for bug repellent. Here's a Wi-Fi repeater, and we're gonna send this up. And I already attempted to do this, and I already failed. So I know how hard it is. It's a pain in the ass. I think I did it 3 times before I gave up, and this ran out of power, and I couldn't, you know, it takes so long to charge up. Maybe it's in like an hour or something like that. It's like it trickle charges. So, and I don't have spare batteries. So yeah, I already know it's a pain in the ass. So I'm gonna reattempt it, and I know that I had transmission quality. I couldn't even go to the full 30 meters. So reattempt. This is kind of my second try. And when you're kind of like hand carrying this in to like through the jungle and into the air raid shelter, it's a balancing act because you can't touch it. It's streaming into your cell phone, and you can't touch your cell phone. You have to balance your cell phone. So you're holding a light, you're holding this, you're holding a cell phone. You're not trying to touch a cell phone screen. And you know, a couple of times I think it crashed or something. I never got to save it. I thought I got the shot at the last one, but it actually didn't save. So what a piece of shit. So that's what happens when you don't have onboard recording. But that no onboard recording makes it simple, makes it cheap. And so this might not be the right drone. It might not be capable of doing this kind of creative shot. But let's attempt it anyway. Okay, Mavic Pro in the air. 30 frames per second. And this is actually, it'll probably be smoother, but this is at 2x speed just to speed it up. I was in tripod mode trying to have the controls more smoother, and then on the descent I'm at 4x speed actually. So during the filming, I'm just during the editing, I'm doing multiple different adjusted the speed level of the video to keep the interest of the viewer. So walking speed is about maybe 2 times When you're hand carrying a Mavic, it's a little bit worrisome because the wings are sticking out, the arms are sticking out, so it's easy to just clip everything here. So I had to clear the path from the beginning to prep the area first. A little bit hard to shoot here. I have to kind of duck walk. Have sore thighs after this. It's not at the original height. A lot of mud came in. So not bad footage. Is this 1,000 lumens or something like that? I don't know. But I'm definitely using the wrong type of flashlight because you can see the beam hotspot kind of wandering around, even though I'm trying to keep it simple. Okay, Tello. Windy day, you see it like kind of tilt, and like this is at 25 meters, I believe. And you can see that it's jostling around. What can you do? You know, I could have waited for a less windy day, but this is to show you the limitations of the device. So then hand catching, you know, of course I adjusted the speed as well and the brightness, and then look, you get transmission kind of like choppiness, and I'm hand carrying and it's going. So obviously easier to carry. It's actually a little bit harder to hand catch. I mean, because you almost want it to land on the palm of your hand and then you're trying to walk with it. So it's a little bit weird when you're kind of hand walking this. This is also sped up, I think 2 times. And then you get to see the low light footage, how it's a little bit grainy, and actually the dynamic range is pretty bad as well, because as you notice, when you get close and you get that kind of hot spot of the flashlight, it's definitely washed out. There's no information. Okay, using a stabilizer app with the original Tello footage, and then it should help with the walking, but it's not gonna help with the. Okay, maybe ideally it would have been if I could fly. That would be like really, really hard to fly instead of hand carrying it. But yeah, so so choppy. But this is with the Wi-Fi extender. You know, I thought I was going to use another footage, but I was like, I have to show you the limitations of the device. Okay, so there's a bit of jello, and when you use a stabilizer app, for the video, it kind of zooms in a bit to aid in the digital stabilization, and yeah, not so good. Still not so good. Right. So the next video will be a split view between the original and the stabilizer, so you can kind of get a better view of the comparison between the two. Basically, I want to show the maximum. I mean, not just the straight video from the Tello drone, but you know, also, you know, it's been edited inside a video app to boost the brightness and the saturation a bit to make it look better. Otherwise, it would have been pretty flat. Everything, including the Mavic Pro, is edited within a mobile device through the iPhone. I transmitted the 4K video from the Mavic Pro straight into the iPhone to be edited in the iPhone, and the whole point of the project is about doing it, if you're able to do it, like a social media shot, one shot, you know, and you're definitely trying to do something very simple, like a simplistic, and without making it too complicated with extra devices you don't need. So yeah, so you can see the left is shaking and the right is more stable. It's a little bit jittery still, despite it's taking those kind of micro shakes out, and then it's already zoomed in. You can see it's a loss of the detail from the left and right. The left side is definitely more detailed. Okay, what's the conclusion? So as you saw in the different videos, it's quite a different comparison, the quality difference between these devices. Obviously, there's a price difference. Obviously, there's a not just price difference, the weight, the carryability or mobility of it, and to consider, and to make this shot. Basically, I think in the conclusion that the Tello cannot do the one-shot trick. Essentially, trying to hand carry a Tello, you can see it's very shaky. I can use a stabilizer app, and as you see, it kind of zooms in a bit, and so it just
the whatever low quality 720 or whatever the low quality is coming out of the Tello and jumpy quality of video, it's just going to get even reduced even more. So even for social media, I feel like it's just not worth it. But if you were trying to just recreate the shot, maybe you just don't bother trying to do a one shot. One shot is definitely impressive. I've seen it done with the Mavic before. It makes it kind of like a seamless, almost like a crane shot. It just seems it merges multiple shots, and that's something you can only obtain through like doing a drone and like trying to hand catch it and walking with it. And there's some creative shots out there on YouTube that people have done it. So only way to do it with the Tello, you would have to maybe you find a non-windy day. It has to be nice and bright. And then you send it up. You have to use the Wi-Fi extender, and then just don't go maybe around 20 meters or something, and then you get your shot. Maybe just use the circle. They have a circle. One of the modes is do a circle thing, and then just descend it. You descend it down, and when you hand catch it, that's it. You cut it. That's your cut footage, and then you just do like a merge or fade away into your own iPhone. And your iPhone is so good in just stabilizing video. You just get that and you just stabilize it. And you can just use the iPhone mixed in with the Tello, try to get the shot that way. But doing it one shot, it's really, really bad. I did many attempts until the point it's frustrating. So can you compare? Can you do a one shot with a Tello? No, you cannot. It's essentially... even if it was indoors, one of the biggest complaint about the Tello is that it's not an outdoor drone, really. It's just susceptible to wind, and you're going to get that outdoors. It's just unpredictable, so you can't do it. So with the Mavic, I got it on the second shot, actually. And the only reason the first shot I didn't get it is because there's such an exposure difference between the sky from one side to like the sky from the other side, that I had to manually adjust the dial on the remote to sort of lower the exposure from the beginning, like -1 or -2, and then as it was turning around, I would raise it. So I would look at you can look at the histogram, or you can look at you can set the white. There's a setting where that makes all the overexposed part of the picture. It makes it into like a crosshatch image, and then you can just kind of like monitor that while it's in air, and then just adjust it. And then so I was just kind of manually adjusting it, and it actually wasn't, because you're doing so little with the drone actually just circling and lowering it. It really wasn't it wasn't a hard task. That's what I was able to get on the second shot. Just on the second shot and almost the first shot, I could just get this one shot. And sometimes like you just don't have opportunity. Maybe the sun's going down or whatever. So having this to do the one shot, or to do any of the shot, it can go high altitude, is much more stabler. It's just so much better. This was flying around, and it was like you can see going zzz, and like it was next to the tree, and like what was I only got 15 meters at the first try without the Wi-Fi extender. It's such garbage. So I don't think I even got 30 meters. I think I got 25 meter in this shot, because I felt it was just at the borderline. And then I just felt at that point, it's like, the wind or whatever, I can hit the tree and it'll crash down, and you can just totally damage the product. So it doesn't feel safe. It doesn't feel reliable. It doesn't feel consistent in your ability to take this shot. So yeah, highly recommend for that kind of shot. Is it's just a limited Mavic. Like you take one of the Mavic, maybe Mavic Air, Mavic Pro, anything else is much better. And as you can tell, that's the crazy stuff. I mean, obviously this is heavy, but if you look at the footprint, this is because it doesn't fold in such a weird angle, it's like carrying this is almost as easy as carrying this, because this is just the shape is weird to fit in your bag. Sometimes it's like it won't fit in the sling because it's like a little bit too wide, depending how big your sling is. And yeah, and if you put it in the carrying case, if you have to put this in the carrying case and protect all the delicate bits, it's like it just defeat the whole purpose, like on the size. But it's much lighter. Obviously, it has to be much lighter. The picture, whatever video quality they use on it is just like, it's like from the past. It's like some kind of cell phone from the 1990s. That's the kind of quality you'll get. So yeah, so that is the conclusion. You cannot get the one shot. The best you can do is just merge a couple of shots. Maybe if you just want to get a very quick and short aerial, and even then it's like, it's a stretch. It's a stretch because you have to remember to bring your Wi-Fi extender. And if there's any kind of wind out, I'm not talking about like super strong, any kind of alternating wind, it's just going to make the shot jumpy. You'll notice like the kind of like tilt down, it's trying to fight the wind, or like some kind of choppiness, or like as it's going around, there's a choppiness into it. So I had the one footage at 15 meters with no wind, and it was pretty smooth. So yeah, just know your limitations, and you can be creative with whatever shot. I mean, if you have a Tello, be creative. You know, test it out, explore, test of what you wanna, what you can, what you cannot do. And if you were to be patient, you just don't want to splurge on $1,000. You only got $100. Maybe you're like a teenager and you're not gonna really get into drones, but you just want to utilize it. Just think about what's capable and what's not capable, and just like find a day that's not windy, and then you could get and use a Wi-Fi extender, you could get a very reasonably stable, and you just don't go to the max, maybe around 15 or 20 meters, and you can get a reasonable shot. And so that's it. So hope you enjoyed the vid. Comparing these two, it's a little bit crazy to compare these two. They're at exact opposite. So I think that's why it's fun. The exact opposite, like extreme of what they're capable and the price and everything like that. So it's not a really fair comparison, but yeah. So it's pretty cool. Like, subscribe, and share it, or whatever you want to do. I'll have some more upcoming projects that I'll do. Stay tuned.